Took me a long time to understand, it was just the most simplest thing that affected my work ethic, right?
Message.
What's up, y'all? JoJo here. Make sure you like, subscribe, share your boy content if you're new to the channel. Go check out some of my other videos to catch up on my personality. So, sometimes I can't decide, what I want to post, so I kind of just, do as I please because it is my channel. I do want to kind of touch base on what editing software I use, you feel me, for editing my videos, because some of you guys might watch my content and you might be thinking to yourself like, what editing software should I use, or you just don't know where to start when it comes to editing in general. To be honest with you, I've been doing like video editing for like a minute. Like I took here and there Photoshop, editing classes and shit like that in high school, but nothing too much. But I remember, when I had to, go to myself, I'm fucking with y'all. I remember when I had to go to Google to search for the information that I was searching for. So, which means that in order for me to learn something, I had to go search for the information, understand it, and then put it into action, right? So that's what I did. Some of you guys might be in a difficult spot. You don't know what software to use, whether it's Premiere Pro, DaVinci Code, Final Cut Pro, iMovie, Movie Maker, Windows Movie Maker. I'm not sure if Windows Movie Maker is still around, but I want to be very clear though. Depending on what software you're using does affect your editing process in the long term. I believe, you feel me? You can agree or disagree. You can drop your comments below as well. So basically where I'm going with this is from the beginning of the video, that when you have, as a content creator, you gotta basically know what software you want to use. If you don't understand what software you want to use because you think some of the softwares might be too hard. So if you got Premiere Pro, Premiere Pro, for some people who are not into, like, I look at Premiere Pro like an Android. Something like for people who are not like Android savvy, they think Android is kind of complicated. That's how I look at Premiere Pro. And then you got the iPhone, which is like Final Cut Pro, right? And then you got, the other option of phones that's out there, which is the other options like DaVinci Code, or, that's still relevant though, don't get me wrong. But like I said, why I don't use Final Cut Pro no more, so this video is basically about me not using Premiere Pro anymore, and it's not forever anymore. It's basically for the time being. It's for the time being, considering that I'm using a Mac. So, as you continue to watch this video, that's where I'm gonna be basically talking about Mac and Windows this whole time. So when you think about the software you're using, so let's say you're using Premiere Pro, you want to make sure you're using the software that's compatible for Premiere Pro. If you're using a software that's not compatible for Premiere Pro, but it's still allowing you to edit your videos, but the processing and the RAM might be taking up a lot of space, it's because you're not using the software that's compatible with the editing software that you're choosing to use. So, it took me a long time to understand, it was just the most simplest thing that affected my work ethic, right? So, I always use, because I'm used to using Premiere Pro. So basically I got a Mac, right? And I'm thinking a Mac is efficient, a Mac is quick, I shouldn't be having any issues when it comes to editing any softwares or anything like that. Just like the typical Mac user would think, or beginner typical Mac user would think. So I would use my MacBook, right? I would be editing, and then when it gets to the exporting, when it's time to export on Premiere Pro, my computer would still take a long time, to the point where I would get very much annoyed. So, I try to figure out solutions. I start Xing out of things. I start, you know, looking at my computer activities, the CPU and anything like that, just to monitor the activity to see where all the energy is, you know, basically see what is being used the most. And you know, I'm like, dang, what is going on? So, you know, I got to Googling some more information, trying to figure out like what's going on? Why is it still moving so slow? You know, I have a MacBook, it should be moving efficiently. I even you know, switched out the you switched out the hard drive for an SSD drive, and the SSD drive is basically, you know, it allow you to receive and it basically allow you to, you know, receive information and transport. Basically, it allow you to transport information from one place to another at a faster rate that it would do if it had like a normal hard drive. So, you know, as I was doing what I was doing, you know, even got to the point where like, damn, the SSD drive didn't work. You feel me? I started, you know, I looked up some RAM. You know, my computer at the time, which is a MacBook, the 2020 mid 2012 13 model, it had only 4 gigabyte of RAM, and I was like, man, maybe that's the problem. That's the reason why my computer is moving so slow, because I'm looking at the Premiere settings, I'm looking at how much RAM I got. Okay, boom, this is the reason why. So, excuse me. I go to Amazon, buy some more RAM, install the RAM, and you know, cut on Premiere Pro, and still the same problem, same issue. And I was just like, fuck, man. Before I even thought about trying to sell my laptop, because this is at the point where I'm getting annoyed, right? Because I'm using the laptop just to edit and to create, and if I'm not able to create, what's the point of using the laptop? To me, that's how I'm looking at it, right? And then it dawned on me that, okay, this is a Mac. This is a Mac. This is not a Windows computer. And Premiere is a Windows system. And then like, when I downloaded Final Cut Pro, it downloaded pretty quick. You know, I got the trial. I started, you know, editing, you know, doing my little editing thing. Don't get me wrong, like I said, I'm a beginner when it came to Final Cut Pro at the time. And then, you know, it came down to the exporting. And sure enough, that video exported hours, even almost a day before Premiere exporting system. Because at the time, like, Premiere would take hours, like 8 hours, sometimes even almost a day, because of how much space and how much RAM is being used just to export one video on a Mac, right? So, you know, after I figured out the solution, I was like, dang, now I can't really use Premiere Pro. Now I really have no use for Premiere Pro at the moment, right? But I still have use for the other Adobe softwares like After Effects sometimes, or, you know, even Photoshop. But when it came to what is beneficial for me at the time, what is convenient for me, what is a problem-solving solution for me, this is the best option that, you know, for those of you guys who are having the same issue, you know, the problem will be resolved. So all you will have to do, like I said, is, you know, use the software that's compatible for what editing system you're using. And if that doesn't work after a while, because you're probably getting annoyed on how slow it still possibly could be moving, you want to make sure you look into a SSD drive, or an internal or external SSD drive. You can have a hard drive, hard drive as well, but the SSD drive is it allows you to transport items a lot faster. But yeah, you know, this is pretty much it, man. You know, I just want to let you guys know that for those of you that's also had this issue. I know this is one of my biggest pet peeves that I resolved. So if you like the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, share your content. This JoJo.